name me mercenaries, really that's the double M. Born baller, baby boy, I be above the rim.
What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
This is how it goes. When I hoop, I have no friends. On the court, they know not to talk to me, but Steven's a real close friend of mine. But on inside those lines, there's no friends. Spalding, that's my friend, and my teammates, and that's it. But before the game, after the game, I'll talk to my guys. I'll go talk to them right now, but it doesn't mean that I don't have friends. But during the game, I don't. It's that simple. If you try to be my friend, I ain't to you.
What'd you say to the rookie? It didn't seem very friendly.
Well, he know. Go ask him.
Talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim.
Family, welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Brought to you, as always, it's your host, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. Family, you know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. On IG, it's at JustBlaze513. On Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Email the show as well, Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. The line is always open, 908-718-1592. Definitely have one for this episode, so we're definitely going to get into that a little bit later. Solo episode this week, if you didn't notice. I needed to have the mic this week, man. I had to discuss a few things as far as happening in the first week of the NBA season. Family, get your merch too. Merch is out. You see it. Keep supporting. I appreciate y'all. Much love to those who did support. It's hoodie season. Stock up while you can. Quality pieces. Hope y'all had a good Christmas as well. Wishing y'all all a happy new year as well. Success and prosperity in 2021. Let's start it off strong, family. So let's get to some news around the NBA. I was scouring the market today and I read that Master P said he's in negotiations to acquire Reebok with guard Baron Davis, ex-guard Baron Davis, B. Diddy. So shout out to that. Let's give a shout out to there. I saw also, according to Forbes, Reebok's asking price was somewhere above $2.4 billion or something like that for the company. Well, we love to see it, man. Reebok being black owned. Let's get this done, Master P. B. Diddy. I don't know if y'all got that kind of change, but let's get it, man. Black owned. LA Clippers lost by 50 points. I'm going to say that again. The LA Clippers lost by 50 points. Unacceptable. CP3 right now is rolling over in his grave. Bob McAdoo is rolling over in his grave. Elton Brand is rolling over in his grave. Danny Manning, Billy Del Negro, they rolling over in their grave. What the hell happened to the Clippers over this week, man? They really got smacked by the Dallas Mavericks. Biggest halftime lead in NBA history, 50 points. And you know what's crazy? You saw the halftime lead was that crazy, was that 50. You would think the Clippers would come back out in the second half, show a little bit more fight, show a lot more intensity. They did for the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes because I was watching that game. It was a Sunday afternoon game, but it wasn't enough. It was for a good 3 to 5 minutes, and then I wouldn't say quit, but they low-key gave up. 100% they low-key gave up. I mean, and losing by 50, unacceptable, like I said. There's no excuses. PG-13, I don't want to hear any excuses from you. Nothing at all you can say. I know you said you took responsibility, blah, 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 whatever. I need to hear a little bit more from you, and I need to see a lot more from you when we get back on the court the next game. Because before the season, you was talking this is your MVP year. You went back to your trainer from your MVP season, all of that. But let's see, man. Show and prove, man. And let's talk about Kawhi really quick, because during this 50-point blowout from the Mavs to the Clippers, Kawhi, you are not playing, but you are not helping out your team either. I saw Kawhi on the bench looking real low-key as usual. But what I didn't like is I didn't see any encouragement from Kawhi Leonard. I didn't see him encouraging his team, trying to galvanize the energy of his team, because it was just a lack of energy for the Clippers. They just came out flat, and then they just said, fuck it, pretty much. But I didn't see Kawhi as the leader. We know he's not a vocal leader. We know that's still the step that he needs to take in his career. Or maybe he may never take that step in his career. But I need to see a little bit more. Like, at least galvanize your teammates, the young guys, keep their energy up, keep their spirits up. I saw him sitting on the bench just chilling. Just sat there, watched his team get pummeled. It was a tough scene, man. Tough scene for those Clippers. Get it together, man. Some more news in the NBA. Rudy Gobert, the Frenchman. I can't believe this. My man Rudy Gobert really got 5 years, $205 million. 5 years, $205 million for Rudy Gobert. That is crazy to me. Now, why in the hell would the Jazz do that? It mind boggles me. I know it mind boggled everybody. I know it mind boggled Twitter. $205 million for a defensive center with no offensive game. Can't go in the post, can't get you a bucket, can't get you 20. Now, I thought about it like this. Would you, as a GM, any of y'all listening to the show, would you go and give Ben Wallace $205 million over 5 years? Would you give that to Ben Wallace? I wouldn't. And think about this. Rudy Gobert is not even as effective as Ben Wallace was for those Detroit Pistons here. The Jazz are not the best defensive team in the league. They're usually top 5, top 10. But they're never a juggernaut on the defensive end where he affects the game in that much where you have to pay him $205 million. Now, I know the market dictates for certain players to get max dollars. But when it comes to a guy like Rudy Gobert, that's where I feel like you got to draw the line now. If I'm Jazz ownership, I'm listen, I'm not giving you a max or super max. I'm not giving you that. You're not really worthy of a super max. And me giving you the super max hampers my ability to make other roster moves that I need to make. Because if Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell are your top 2 players, is that really a championship caliber team? It's a playoff team. A solid playoff team. Is it a guaranteed second round team? A guaranteed Western Conference Finals team? No, it's not. So I'm not giving both. Well, I'm giving Donovan Mitchell that max, but I'm not giving Rudy Gobert $205 million. So if you saw the 5 biggest contracts in NBA history are Giannis, $228 million, Russell Westbrook, $207 million. Rudy Gobert is number 3 with $205 million. Steph Curry got $201 million. Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson are both tied with a $190 million contract. Now, I'm not one to count another man's pockets, but damn, Rudy Gobert. I don't know about that 205. I don't know about that $200 million for Rudy Gobert. Get your money, player. Get your money. Let's get into some voicemails really quick. Well, we got one coming in this week. My man Teddy D out there in Louisville. Shout out to you, brother. What's going on? Talk to me.
Josh, what's going on, my brother Teddy D? Another great show, man. As always, it's great to hear the shows that you have with Damo and Reem. They always bring the heat. Listen, y'all even made me more of a Carmelo fan. Shout out to y'all. But listen, I am here to talk about the lack of coverage my Orlando Magic have gotten on the show. Now, I know that it's false. I know it's fake. Let me be the first to say, 3-0, that ain't the way our season gonna go. But give a little love to the Rook coming in and making some moves, man. I like Anthony. And then listen, I'm not saying that Markelle has fixed everything yet, but we finally got the memo to run the offense through him instead of Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's a great number 4 on a good team, number 3 on ours. But I'm just saying, he's not the franchise dude he's getting paid like. That's it. Keep on killing it, man, as always, and I'll keep listening out there. Peace.
Teddy, appreciate you calling in, my brother. So let's talk about your Magic real quick. I know you hit me up. You talked about that I'm not giving enough coverage to your Orlando Magic. They're 3-0 right now, but come on, Teddy.
Come on, man.
Come on, my dog. Listen, y'all boys look good. 3-0 right now, like you said. Will it last? Probably not. Will they get into the playoffs? Maybe so. Magic's been in the playoffs the last 2 years now, sneaking in either the 7th or the 8th seed. They're definitely going to have a little bit more competition going into this year to get into that 7th and 8th seed again. But y'all Magic look good, man. I'm not going to lie, Teddy. I looked at Fultz, man. He's playing really solid this year. He definitely has a lot more confidence this year. He's averaging 20. I know it's only 3 games, but he is averaging 20. 4 assists, shooting almost 50% from the floor, over 90% from the line. He's looking real good, man. He fixed his shot. He's been driving to the lane with confidence. He already was a great driver. Where did he go to? Washington, I believe, Markelle Fultz. He was a great driver there. Came into the NBA. He has a great driving ability. He knows how to draw contact, which I like. He knows how to run the break. He knows how to push the pace. And I like the way the Magic are playing, man. I really do. Cole Anthony. I think, man, Cole Anthony right now, when I look at him, I think he might be the steal of the draft. He looks really, really good. When he was available, I wanted the Knicks to draft him. I know they drafted Obi Toppin, but I was like, man, they really need a point guard over there in New York. And I thought Cole Anthony would be that guy for them, but they passed up on him. They went to Obi Toppin, which I'm not mad at. He's a little hurt right now, but when he comes back, he's going to be a solid rookie for the Knicks. But Cole Anthony, I really like, man. It's definitely going to be interesting how they utilize those two moving forward. Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz, because I do feel like both of them are a tad bit redundant, but they're both very good. Now, if you play both of them together, then obviously T. Ross got to come off the bench, which I believe he is already, if I'm not mistaken, because you got Fournier starting too. So there's a lot of guys over there on your Magic team, Teddy, that are very similar in position. Got Aaron Gordon over there too. And let's talk about Aaron Gordon since you brought him up. I know you've been really tough on Aaron Gordon. You always talk to me about Aaron Gordon when you sending me texts and voice notes, man. I know I'm kind of giving up on him too, man. He's been good, just solid, but hasn't been what the Magic need him to be. Obviously, for the contract that they gave him, he's giving you 13-7 this season. Is it time to give him up? I think so. I think it's time for the Magic to look. I would say look to move on from Aaron Gordon right now, because I feel like you could get some pieces for him. Now they probably going to have to sell low because he hasn't had the best season the last 2 years. He was looking like a value Blake Griffin, a Toasty O's Blake Griffin. He was looking like a RC Cola version of Blake Griffin. He still might be that, man. So who knows what kind of value y'all gonna get for Aaron Gordon? But the Magic definitely need to look at moving on from him, especially with Jonathan Isaac coming back next season too. Because once he comes back from injury, it is really gonna be a logjam over there. And I would sell on Aaron Gordon now, while you can, man. Because I like Markelle, I like Cole Anthony, I like T. Ross over there. Fournier solid over there. Isaac coming back is gonna be solid. Vooch is over there. There's some decent pieces, man. So, Magic definitely got to trade Aaron Gordon. I like him on the Suns too. I think that's a decent spot for Aaron Gordon. It'll be a good spot for him, or maybe the Wizards, maybe a team like that to use Aaron Gordon. It'll be interesting to see, man. But shout out to the Magic being 3-0, but never again. Moving on, we got to talk about those Brooklyn Nets, man. Out here in BK. I put the clip out last week. Damo was mad hype, talking about the Brooklyn Nets, talking about his man TLC, who's finally getting burned now. He's been playing well. KD looks great. Kyrie looks great. Vert looks great. The Nets look deep. But we got some crazy news that came out of Brooklyn, man. Yesterday, or I think it was today, I believe, early this morning. There's so much news that you forget what day it comes in. But early this morning, I feel like Spencer Dinwiddie, man, partially tore his ACL. Tough blow. Tough injury that they have to overcome for the Brooklyn Nets. Listen, man, it's going to be really tough because some people were saying Dinwiddie was their third best player. Some people say LeVert is their third best player. it's going to be interesting because losing your third piece and your third person that you can count on, and probably your second best ball handler, secondary playmaker. Now you're starting shooting guard since Steve Nash is starting him next to Kyrie. It's going to be tough to overcome that Dinwiddie loss for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not going to lie, because when you look at the loss for the Nets, what's the underlying notion in losing Dinwiddie? Because they do have the depth to overcome the loss of Dinwiddie. But the problem is, with Dinwiddie gone now for the rest of the season, clearly, can you rely on Kyrie being there the whole season? Now, his track record says no. Missed the playoffs with the Celtics. Missed it last year. The year before that, I believe he didn't even make it. I believe he was on the Cavs that year, unless I'm tripping out. Oh, no, he was on the Celtics the year before. No, excuse me. He played in one playoffs with the Celtics against the Bucks, and he looked terrible in that series. And then he was gone. The year before that, he missed the playoffs with the Celtics. Because due to injury. And the year before that, I believe he missed the playoffs with the Cavs. So Kyrie's playoff history is suspect, is what I'm saying right now. Whether he's going to be on the court, we don't know. So now with that being said, Dinwiddie was your major insurance policy for that. Now you guys don't have that. So now you have to rely, or you're hoping and praying and wishing that Kyrie lasts the whole season. So now you got to talk about load managing Kyrie Irving this season, which they're clearly doing right now. Because if you saw that the Nets are playing right now, I believe the Grizzlies or somebody, and Kyrie's taking the night off, a healthy scratch. So load management is already happening in Brooklyn for KD as well, which is warranted. He isn't coming back off that Achilles, so that's fine. But can they overcome the Dinwiddie loss? I think so. I think there's enough talent on the team that they can overcome that. I do feel like they're probably going to make another guard pickup just to show up that rotation, but it's a big loss, man. It is. They just lost to the Hornets the other day, so let's not act like this Brooklyn Nets team is unbeatable. But damn, they are a tough team to stop, man. KD and Kyrie, like I said, averaging 26 and 29. Both of them shooting over 50%. I believe they were shooting over 60% like two of those games. LeVert can come off the bench and give you 20. Some nights give you 30. You got the double center duo in DeAndre and Jared Allen. Shamet, I like too. Joe Harris. Jeff Green. They got some pieces over there in Brooklyn. Don't sleep. Well, nobody's sleeping on the Nets. I'll tell you that right now. Nobody's sleeping on the Nets. But they're going to be a tough out, man. I don't know how many teams in the East can really beat the Brooklyn Nets legitimately in a series. In a 7-game series, that's going to be tough because the Nets may be able to throw out the two best players on the floor in every series in the East. That may be tough. But the Nets, man, let's look out for the Nets, man. I'm definitely watching them, and I know the world is intrigued into seeing what goes down with the Nets this season. Some other things I'm watching for in the first week of the NBA season. I've been looking at the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, man. Family. We finally get to see what the real Steph Curry is without a squad behind him. Warriors are struggling right now to start the season. 1-2 to start the season. Steph is giving you 25, but it's a struggle 25. He's shooting like a little bit over 30%. I think it's like 35% from the floor, something like that. Not very Steph-like percentages. He's usually very efficient. But when I look at a guy like Steph, phenomenal talent, supreme offensive player, but he's never had the same responsibility or workload that his counterparts who play the same position has. And I've always been saying that forever. So when people rank Curry ahead of a lot of other guards, ahead of a lot of his contemporary just because of past success, because of the two-time MVP, because of the championships, they fail to add context to it, which I feel like you should always add context to it. And this is some of the context to it. We're finally seeing him have to become a full-time point guard and a full-time facilitator in his Golden State Warriors offense. And I feel like he's struggling with it. It definitely just start the season, he's struggling with it. It's new for him. It's a new road. He's never had this much responsibility on both ends, on the offensive end and also on the defensive end to be the leader since Draymond is not there. No more single coverage for Steph Curry because you had one of the greatest scorers next to you in KD, one of the best shooters next to you in Klay. or one of the best role players ever in Iguodala being able to hit clutch shots. He's got to make his teammates better now, and I think he's struggling a little bit like that, especially in the beginning of the season. Now, he could also change. He can get better. He can upgrade. Of course, he can galvanize the team a little bit better. They can also start to play a little bit. Oubre could play a lot better. Wiggins could play a lot better. When Draymond comes in, he takes a lot of pressure off of Steph. But in order for them to make the playoffs, in order for them to be the team that they wanted to be, at least this year, Steph has to take that next leap that he has never taken in his career. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now he has to make all of his teammates better. His ability to be a threat, a significant three-point threat, his gravity, they're a little bit less effective when he doesn't have those same teammates around him that are knockdown shooters. 2-time MVP, still got to make the playoffs. And keep it a stack. No excuses. No excuses. CP3 took that OKC team to the playoffs last year as a 5 seed. 0.02 chance. Y'all gave my son last year to make the playoffs with an OKC team full of rookies, young players, one vet in Gallinari, Steven Adams. Curry got enough talent over here to make the playoffs. I don't want to hear any excuses. Oubre got to play better. We know. Wiggins got to play better. We know. Draymond got to come back. They got the number 2 pick in Wiseman over there. They got Wanamaker over there. Who else? Who else is on that bench? Lee, who's been playing better. Listen, man, he got enough talent to make the playoffs. I don't want to hear the damn excuses. A lot of people for many years, they were arguing that Steph Curry's better than KD, better than LeBron, more impactful than LeBron, which was always ridiculous when he is a defensive liability on that side of the floor. On the offensive side, superstar of the highest order. He's a threat from half court. You got to do all of that. So it's going to be interesting this season, man. It's going to be interesting this season to see how Steph Curry adjusts his game and to see if they make it to the playoffs, because they better make it to the playoffs or else slander will arise. I'll tell you that. And by the way, Steve Kerr, overrated. Let's talk about that really quick. Overrated. I've been saying that for a long time as well. He's had 2 years now to show how he can coach lesser talent. They've been terrible so far. Let's see. Moving on, family. I want to talk about some of my predictions going in to this season right now. Now, we're a weekend. 2020-2021 season is one of the most unpredictable seasons that we've had in a long time. I'm not going to lie. Now, you know my philosophy. Go hard or go home. That's how I always do it when it comes to my takes. Some of my hottest takes, you know me. I had the prophecy last year. I definitely need a new prophecy this year. I might have But hit me out on these, man. I got a bunch of these season picks, bold predictions. So I was struggling a little bit when I wanted to pick my finals pick because this is a tough season to predict. I do have my gut feeling of who I think is going to go to the finals. But for this section, I wanted to go my top 4 teams, who I think is going to make the Western Conference Finals, who I think is going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. So for the West, no surprise here. I got the Lakers going to the Western Conference Finals. But I think against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, don't kill me, but listen to me. Don't sleep on those Phoenix Suns, man. Listen, man, I know y'all think I'm crazy. I know y'all think I'm crazy, just my CP3 fandom talking right here, but it's going to be tough for them. Not going to say it's going to be easy, but like I said, like I told Reem, how I told Damo last episode, 2-8, I think it's a logjam in the West between 2-8. Now we got the Clippers, but we see how they turned out. They could be beaten at any time, depending on the matchup. The Nuggets are a great team, but we can see they can be beaten depending on the matchup. The Blazers, we still don't know how they're going to look right now. They don't look too good. Their defense looks suspect. Good Jazz, beatable. Mavs, beatable. Like, plenty of teams in the West are beatable. Grizzlies, beatable. Warriors, beatable. Come on now. It's not that far-fetched to see the Lakers and the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. If the matchups shake up how I think they're going to shake up. In the Eastern Conference, got the Nets, Gotta go with them Brooklyn Nets because I feel like it's gonna be really tough to beat them in a 7-game series. And I got the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, man. I'm telling you, man. I think it's a big year for the Celtics. I think it's a big year for the Celtics. The Nets, Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals. We gonna see, man. Most surprising team. I still got hope for the Wizards. I don't know why. A lot of people are. I feel like they're disrespecting the Wizards. Well, not even disrespect because the Wizards. We don't know what's gonna even happen to them. We don't know how good they're gonna be. Right now, I don't know if they're 0-3 or 1-2. They lost the game with. They lost the game against the Magic with Russ, with Beal. I like how they look together. I watched their game. I like the pairing between the two, but I think the problem is the rest of the roster isn't really geared to their talents, and they also don't have any chemistry yet. No chemistry. That Bonga kid, I don't know why they playing him. I don't know why Scotty Brooks is really playing him. Terrible. I really don't like his rotations. When Hachimura comes back, I think he's going to be a great addition for them. Thomas Bryant got to step up, but I think the Wizards are going to sneak into the playoffs, man. I really do. My gut is just telling me that. I feel like it's for that last 7th, 8th spot is going to come down to the Pacers, the Wizards, the Hawks, the Magic. So that play-in game is going to be something special at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be crazy, man. Most disappointing team. I'm going to have to go with the Pelicans. With this. Because I know the media is giving them a lot of attention, clearly because of Zion. Well, Zion overload. He's looked well, by the way. He's moving a lot better, moving a lot quicker. He's definitely going to the rim very strong. I love the way he's attacking the basket. Still got to get a little turnaround game. Still has to work on his game and in half court. Ingram is still looking like a star as usual. The fit between Steven Adams and Zion is a little weird, but it can work. But then also the fit with Drew Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball, I hate. So a lot of people, some people, ESPN has the Pelicans projected to make the playoffs. I believe in a 7th or 8th seed. I definitely don't think that's happening. I think they're missing the playoffs once again. And I don't think it's going to be close either. I think they're going to be like 11th seed, something like that. I'm not that high on the Pelicans as a lot of people are. Not at all. Some more predictions I got for the season. I'm really high on John Morant this year. So in my predictions, I have him becoming an all-star this year and top 3 in assists. But as I was recording this episode, I saw he just got hurt. I believe he was playing against the Nets tonight. It's an ankle injury. I hope it's nothing serious because then my prediction is dead if he's out for a long period of time, which will also hurt my fantasy team, by the way. So, Ja, prayers up. Need you to get back on that court, man. Hopefully everything is all right with him. But if he's healthy, comes back to the floor, comes back to the court, I got him being an all-star, top 3 in assists. That's one of my predictions. One of my predictions also, I feel like the Hawks, man. I feel like they're going to miss the playoffs. I don't know why. I would be very disappointed if they missed the playoffs because I really like their team. I really like Trae Young. I like the Capella pickup. Love John Collins. Gallinari is solid over there. Bogdanovich over there. DeAndre Hunter. Cam Reddish. Red Velvet. Hooter. My dog. But I don't know. I feel like it might be a little too much over there. Chris Dunn also. Rondo over there. There's a lot of guys over there in that Hawks roster. So I don't know. I feel like they may be a team that may be collateral damage in that play-in. Because they may have a little too much to work with. And I think it's going to be really tough for Lloyd Pierce to really come up with a solid rotation that makes sense and keeps everybody happy at the same time. Because they are a lot of young guys over there, and they're all hungry. They're all willing to prove themselves. It's going to be tough to really navigate that over there with the Hawks and Lloyd Pierce. So it's going to be interesting. So health, chemistry might be the downfall of the Hawks. I would love for them to get in the playoffs, but maybe they won't. I feel like that's one of my bold predictions. They might not get in because I think the Wizards will get in, and I think a sleeper team like the Pacers or somebody like that will sneak in as well. But that bottom of the East is going to be interesting, man. I got to get to my MVP, man. Because I was thinking about this for a long time. Who is my MVP pick this season? There was a lot of options that a lot of people were coming out. A lot of people were saying KD. Some were saying AD. A lot of people had Luka. Some people had Giannis again. Man, I'll tell you, man, when I had to sit back in my chair, I was looking at my crystal ball. I was like, yo, Just, who do I think is going to take that major leap forward? A leap forward unlike anyone else in the NBA this season. Who is high on my list? And when I sat there and thought about my MVP, hear me out, family. My MVP pick for this season, Jason Christopher Tatum. I gotta go there. I'm telling you, man, I think this year is gonna be his leap into superstardom this year. I called him a top 10 player in the league on several occasions, on several episodes. Why I think he's going to be MVP this year. I think the Celtics are going to take a leap forward and be a top three seed in the East. I think JT is going to average around 28 points per game, around 9 rebounds, around 4 assists. Right now, currently, I believe is 25, 8, and 3. Offensive skill is still elite. He can hit you with the post up. He can hit you with a jab step, mid range, going outside, going inside. That game winner over Giannis. Come on now. Ice cold. Coldness in his veins. 22 years old. Fourth year in the league. I feel like he's matured into now where he is ready to take that next leap forward. And that's my MVP pick, man. Because I think the Celtics actually got better as a team as well. I know a lot of people are really skeptical on the Celtics right now because they lost Gordon Hayward. They got Kemba Walker out right now. But I think it's addition by subtraction with Gordon Hayward leaving. I think with him leaving, it allows Jaylen Brown and it also allows Jason Tatum to blossom into the players that they need to be. And a guy like Kemba, we know he's going to allow those two to blossom. And then having Kemba as your third option, who could get you 20 to 30 every night. Come on now. I think it's going to be dynamite for the Celtics. Of course, it all being health dependent. We saw last year in the playoffs in the bubble, Kemba wasn't 100% healthy, but they're holding him out now so he can get 100% healthy. So we'll see about that. They also picked up TTK, Tristan Thompson. I really love that pick up there for the Celtics. He gives them a nice energy big who can hustle, exactly what they needed. They had Daniel Tice guarding Bam Adebayo. Wasn't a good matchup. So I like TTK over there. They got that rookie Peyton Pritchard. He's going to be nice. They got Jeff Teague over there. I think they got a nice roster for the Celtics. And I really like what JT is going to bring to the table, being the anchor of that team. And he has a very, very solid number 2 that he can count on in Jaylen Brown. So I think this is his lead, man. Now, he does have things that he has to improve on, of course, in order to get that MVP trophy. He's got to work on his free throw attempts. We know that. I know everybody saw the stat that he was the first player in NBA history to open a season with consecutive games with more than 20 field goal attempts and 0 free throw attempts, which is crazy. 0 free throw attempts and over 50 field goals he shot. Last game, he had 4 attempts. Still way too low. The best number for JT for free throw attempts this season, it's got to be 6 to 8. 6 to 8 easy free throws. So he's averaging 28 without a free throw attempts. Imagine if you add 6 or 8 free throw attempts onto that. He's got to go to the basket a little bit harder. He's got to sell those calls. Start crying a little bit more to the ref. Whatever you got to do, all the stars do it, so you might as well do it too. I think he's in for a big year, man. Free JT. MVP year for JT. I want to talk about the Mavs really quick also because I'm looking at a lot of these media projections. And I feel like some of them, y'all got to pump the brakes on the Mavs a little bit. The Mavs are a solid team now, but I saw a lot of these ESPN projections and NBA Twitter projections have them top 2, top 3 in the West. And I'm already seeing a common narrative about Luka Doncic being an MVP already, the clear-cut favorite for MVP already, which I think is a little bit crazy. I think y'all need to pump y'all brakes. Not that he can't win MVP, but crowning him as MVP already, 2-3 games into the season. Now, I'm not saying he can't win it. He definitely will have the stats to do so. 27, 7, and 7 he's averaging already this year. But to me, how I look at it, how I look at MVP, he has to at least have his team as a top 3 seed in his conference, no less, in order to be an MVP. I don't see them as being a top 3 seed. I see them being a 5, 6, or 7 seed. And I think 2 through 8 will be bunched up in the West. Actually, I think 1 through 8 will be bunched up in the West. But 2 through 8 in particular, I think will be very close. I really, really do. And my issue with them saying Luka is a clear-cut MVP is that we got to get more games into the season, man. It's too early for that yet. The media riding, the pre-picking the MVP has got to stop. Relax. How the hell are you a favorite and you didn't even play 10 games yet? That's crazy. Nobody's a favorite. But you know those media narratives. This year, they're riding Luka this year. Last year, they were riding Giannis last year. Steph a few years ago. Every year, they pick somebody to ride. Relax. Let the season play out. Let's see how good he does. Then you start handing out MVP awards in the last 15, 20 games or so of the season. Now, if he wins this MVP without being a 1 or 2 seed, the narrative is crazy. The narrative police got to come out because, man, they already said it cut and dry. 76 is really quick before I get on out of here, man. I was watching their game. I forgot who blew them out the other night. The Cavs blew them out, but they beat the Knicks. Embiid is already missing time as usual. Always these unreasonable expectations over there in Philly. I'm going to keep it a stack. They looking like a first-round exit to me. I had high hopes for the Sixers, but after me watching them, they're not the same old Sixers, but they're going to flame out. Something about them is telling me they're going to flame out. I know, Akeem, I know you listening. You're going to be tight about this over this. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's another move that needs to be made or a little bit more of an attitude adjustment that I need to see. And I know it's a little early. It's still only 3-4 games in, so I can't make crazy assumptions now. But what I didn't like in the first couple of games that I saw what Doc Rivers is already doing with the Philadelphia 76ers. He's still playing those all bench units that he used to do with the Los Angeles Clippers. And I know that very well from my days with CP and Blake and all those Clippers. He always would put out an all bench unit highlighted by Jamal Crawford all the time. And they would lose the lead every time they would put out an all bench unit instead of staggering his stars. So when Simmons was in and Tobias, he didn't even stagger them. He had an all bench unit. And if they won the game, but the lead was never the same at that point. So we got to watch out for that for the Philadelphia 76ers because we were worried about the Clippers were complaining a lot that his lack of adjustments they were complaining about in the series against the Nuggets. I'm looking at that again now because he did that all bench unit again with the Clippers last year, which was the problem because they had Montrez guarding Jokic for way too long. Doc Rivers. Philadelphia 76ers have some talent. I need you to do those rotations a lot better and stop putting on those all-bench units. It's going to be interesting how they play out too. And this season, man, this is going to be an interesting season and the season's going to go by real quick. 72 games, only so much room for error. Playoff teams, I feel like will be decided by like March-ish. Whoever establishes themselves in the next 15 or 20 games or so, I think is going to have the edge come March. Playoffs are starting around the same time, April, May. It's going to be an interesting season, man. Tell me, family, call in. Let me know your predictions in for this season. Who y'all guys got for MVP? Who y'all have for the conference finals in the West and the East? Hot takes. Shit talking. I need all of that, family. I need all of that. This season's going to be really sticky. 2020, 2021, man. It's going to be crazy. So family, definitely keep it locked each and every week going into the new year. Best NBA pod in the game. You already know. Special guests, fly takes, real basketball convos. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know how we do. Head above the rim. Happy New Year. Blessings. It's gonna be a good year in 2021, family. Let's keep it locked, man. Best NBA pod in the game above the rim.